Welcome back to NASCAR 2012 Reimagined. We are here at Martinsville for the sixth race of the season. Short tracks, chaos. Take a look at qualifying order down the list. And going back up as we get right into the insanity here. Greg Biffle on the pole for this race. As the pace car is in, rounding through four, hitting the restart zone, and kicking off this race with the green flag. Gonna be very slow around. This driver's taking their time through these corners, especially when you get in the pack like this. It's really difficult to maneuver yourself around. But seeing the early passes be made is getting to the inside of a driver and getting that 3 wide is very important to make passes. Harvick has been making a lot of ground up as we see some more 3 wide within the top 10. Casey Kane trying to pressure McMurray as others fighting for those spots. I think Kane definitely got under McMurray, and then that's going to create this little passing zone here for a lot of these guys. Kane trying to get a pass done, but Kenda's pressuring him as 99 of Carl Edwards on pit road. Not sure what that's all about. The 99 team's going to be behind the 8 ball here pretty early on. They have to merge back in traffic as well. Right there in front of guys like Allmendinger, Stewart. Speaking of traffic, look at this. David Gilliland caught in the middle there. The problem is that the 33 of Hermie Sadler just doesn't have speed despite the good qualifying spot. And others are going to be coming in from behind. So guys like Newman, Logano can just take advantage of the low end. But the 38 seems to have stabilized himself out. Meanwhile, this front end right here, this is like around the top 15-ish. Menard, Boyer, Mears, all in the mix. Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is back up to like second place. Dale Jr. is trying to catch Biffle, but Greg Biffle just has so much open track. And Gordon trying to catch to second there. And that's Harvick and Reagan rounding out the top 5. The thing is, with how like strung out this pack gets, you can see Biffle starting to see the back guys like Yaley, Rudiman, Skinner, Nemechek, and Castle. It's not that far until he gets start lapping cars. Let me see what that mid-pack do though. Problem is Edwards being stuck a lap down is really unfortunate. Tony Stewart on the rise. Oh, Casey Mears in the wall. Pretty hard. Didn't quite catch it, but the 13 is not in a good shape right now. Definitely too far on the outside lane. Not sure what the 13 team is going to be thinking here as far as strategy. Maybe just going to have to ride that damage out because that was a bad hit. A little further back, Kyle Busch not making any headway at all. He is down back as well. A big problem for this team. Need to get this sorted out. Especially with how bad the beginning of the season's gone. Kyle Busch has not looked good. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon all over each other. Gordon's trying to arc it for a run to save face here. But I think Harvick's got this position easily going for what looks to be third. Gordon not quite giving up the fight. Meanwhile, Biffle has caught those last place cars. Gordon fighting hard on the outside. He might actually make the defense work. They're both going to be reeling in the leader due to how the 16 has caught the back end. No, I think Harvick got the position there. Let's take a look at Biffle putting Yaley and Rudiman a lap down. His next target will be the 52 of Mike Skinner. As Biffle is like an invasive species to these lap cars. And he also makes it look easy too. Effortlessly gunning around the 52 and the 30 doesn't take that much effort either. He is just one after another. Joe Nemechek in the 87. He's got to watch out. A few other guys here. These are all the guys that Biffle's passing. They barely made the show. As he gets by some of those. This is just outside the top 10. Jeff Burton, Clint Boyer. A happy little family here. And the lap times are starting to get into the 22s. To put that in perspective, Biffle is the only one who's run a lap under 22 seconds. So when you look at the margin here, those guys who are within top 20 but not top 10, they're over half a lap down already. They do not want to be dropping a lap down. Boyer actually putting up a really solid defense here, as I think they're both trying to catch Almirola or Reagan for a top 10 spot. I think Jimmy Johnson may have got a bit of wall there. They're trying something. Johnson up to 8th now. Meanwhile, Biffle's lap down rampage has taken everybody up to Regan Smith. And if you're Kyle Busch, you're up there. You're not that far off of being a lap down. It's a pretty crazy time. There's Regan Smith and Hermie Sadler. And if you're, they say, Dale Jr., you're also trying to go through this. The 88 has caught up to the back of Yaley and Rudiman, and Harvick has to battle too. Also, problems for the 33 of Hermie Sadler. Hermie Sadler definitely has a mechanical issue and is trying to stay out of the way. I think we stay green. Very unfortunate one-off for Hermie. It's going to have to end this way. See Brad Keselowski not having the best races. He's only about 19th right here. And he's got plenty of traffic to have to work his way through to save face. Meanwhile, Biffle's kind of hit a roadblock here. There's just so many cars. They have the 9 of Ambrose, Regan Smith, both the BK cars, and Ken Schrader, as well as the 23 of Scott Riggs wanting to get back on the lead lap. These guys, they're going to fight for their position despite not contending for a position with the lead lap car, if that makes sense. Kevin Harvick has taken second place. He's been passing some lap cars, trying to do the double here. Got the win last race at Auto Club. wants to go do it again. Casey Kane. He's a sleeper pick here. He snuck his way to 4th place, and he's got himself something going here. Looking around to get that teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr. And Matt Kenseth, 5th. He has the win. He just doesn't have the consistency that his team does, so he's just not really like good in points. He needs good points just to get into the wild card position and eventually the top 10 in points. Carl Edwards still in last place. Well, actually no longer in last place because of Hermie, but he can get more positions here coming up because Yaley and Rudiman are definitely going lap down right now. It's so difficult to pass. If you get stuck behind the funk of a lap car, then that just sticks with you forever. I think Denny Hamlin has been trying to reel in David Rudiman for a while now. Can get the 10 up the track. So if a 7 or 11 can get higher than 7th. 7-11 joke. Got him. Landon Castle, last car on the lead lap. Then Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman. After the 83 is 2 drivers that really can't afford to go a lap down, and they actually have pretty solid cars to boot. This is lap 30. We're still green, by the way, as Kane taking 3rd. It's actually impressive, like, what these drivers can do despite their qualifying position. And meanwhile, on the opposite, Casey Mears, qualified like 6th, is now running 21st place. And David Reagan, who is currently trying to get back to 15th place after starting the race in 2nd place. There's Brad Keselowski again, and defending champion Tony Stewart. The 14 has some pretty solid power. Him and the 31, who you see on your screen, they were the 2 fastest cars at Daytona when doing the speed trials. Now you see all the drivers that are around this position. That's just the 49 of J.J. Yaley. It's been tough sledding. The 49 team, they're just trying to finish a race. Any race that they haven't wrecked out of, they didn't even qualify for. Well, Greg Biffle is hounding Kyle Busch down to put him a lap down. So this is just really kind of almost a bummer for the 18 team. They've couldn't really catch the break they wanted, and now they're going to have to fight for it the hard way. Oh, another blowout. This time, David Reagan. The 34 has expired. Maybe all the slow corners and shifting are really tough on the drivers. 34, definitely going to be one of their darker days. Let's actually take a look and see. They don't go to 3rd gear, but they do get pretty slow there. See, Junior might actually lose the top 5 spot. He's just trapped up on the high side. And here comes Kenseth. Here comes Hamlin. Has to get in front of Jimmy Johnson, but I don't think he's going to try to cut any slack. Oh! Contact! Matt Kenseth and Joe Nemechek get together. So the 87 tried to fill the hole, but just wasn't there. Mainly, if you're like a lap down in a Martinsville type situation, you need to get out of the way. Ryan Newman running 24th. Yeah, you can see the intensity ramping up now as drivers Like, just how the leader is able to lap so many. Biffle pretty much leading this thing wire to wire so far has been instrumental in a good run. Carl Edwards did make up a few spots from his unscheduled stop, but really that's about it. Now Biffle taking a particularly higher lane around there. Sometimes they choose to go higher. I mean, usually I would assume that when they did that, try to avoid a wrecking car, but they didn't actually see a wrecking car. It was still green. David Gilliland's still in the top 20, which is not bad for the other front row car that's still contending relatively. Tony Stewart goes up the track. Him and Brian Vickers both have J.J. Yaley to contend with. And they don't want to get stuck behind Yaley for too long. Biffle's a coming. You can see how 49 actually raced that corner pretty good, but like at what cost? All the other drivers are just getting annoyed at the fact that he won't move the fuck over. I mean, tensions are definitely rising at Martinsville. That's this track's calling card, if you know what I'm saying. Seems like they're trying to get to lap 50 just so they can one-stop this race. The top few are all kind of few and far between, as racing for position seems like almost non-existent at this point. They're all just trying to deal with lap cars. But there's still plenty of shit no matter where you look. Do a passive aerial view. We'll just keep ticker on Biffle as you can see what lap we're on. The leader actually gunning down for Casey Mears. And you see the 14 of Tony Stewart just getting increasingly frustrated with Yaley. Just the action that comes into turn one, actually. That's just for top 10 anyways. Almirola doing a great job keeping top 10 in. I think that's Truex in 11th. Yeah, Harvick has been trying to gun down. It's the same top two from Auto Club. This time, Biffle, the leading car, and Harvick, the second car. Looking at the run and gun into turn one. Yeah, still 40 whole cars. There are some gaps in the track where there's no action, but there's like just plenty of like downtown interstate traffic just running in. Like some packs that leaders catch themselves in, there's just plenty where you have to like take it one at a time, or at least try to. Just a mess. So we're on about the halfway point, 50 of 100 right now. And J.J. Yaley will take the honors of being the first driver in position to go 2 laps down without DNFing the car. Currently running 39th. I think Joey Logano, something about the 20, making a pit stop. I'm not sure if he pitted early, if it was unscheduled or not. It seems like no one else is coming down, so Logano might be stuck where he is. And that'll be Rudeman going 2 laps down. Yavely actually finding some decent strategies despite the absolutely bad Robinson Blaney racing car. He's just trying to catch Stremme at this point, just race his own race one at a time. Mears, Labonte, Newman, they're all 1 lap down. And David Gilliland 1 down as well. That means that Tony Stewart in 17th, final car on the lead lap. I think maybe Logano might try and strategy pit this thing. Not sure. At this point, I don't think that you can take too much advantage of fresh tires relatively at this track, simply because you can't go 500 feet without running into a lap car at this point, as McMurray has to deal with both Josh Wise and Mike Skinner. That allows Biffle to just kind of do his own thing. Those 1 lap cars like Newman, Labonte, Burton, they're all trying to race each other. It's just that you can't, like, they're all trying to get, like, the fastest way around. Like, Stewart was put 3 wide outside. I think he tried to pass Stremme on the outside, but then Biffle took advantage of both of them. There's only 16 cars on the lead lap. This is one of them old classics, I'm guessing. If Biffle can just continue to clutch up this thing, then this race has just been, he'll just dog walk this race from the drop of the initial green flag. Harvick has only made it to around Kurt Busch. Like, he's still consistently at least 5 within, or around 5 whole seconds, if not more. I think Biffle might stretch this one out a little bit because Harvick is about to hit a big patch of lap cars. Casey Kane in 3rd actually hit his own patch of lap cars, and Hamlin, right behind Kane, could take 3rd place away. Montoya, Castle, Ambrose. They're all just there. Not sure what else to say. Kane is doing a decent defense job, and the lack of progress those two are making has allowed drivers like Kenseth and Johnson to maybe get some distance made on this. Biffle has passed McMurray and is putting the 26 a second lap down. So now 26 is pretty open air. And his next target is Brian Vickers. But I think the 26, or not 26, 16 having all this open space means he can basically has free reign to run this shit down. Joey Logano on like an alternate, like, I'm taking my service early type deal is an interesting play. I'm not sure if I would have done the same, because you have to reliably get a good green flag run here. And I'm not sure if we'll go green to the end. I mean, we've been green pretty much the entire time, but, you know, shit could happen. And here's Harvick is getting held up for 2nd place. Now the battle for 2nd is on, as Casey Kane has taken 2nd place. This is a pretty big gaggle right here for 2nd, because you have so many different, like, cars with different speeds that are all, like, getting in with each other. And I think that's causing all these variances here. Hamlin definitely getting a short deal here, as he is dealing with Casey Mears on that. They're trying to get back down to 2 wide, but it's still a mess. Kenseth is there, and Hamlin has, like, no recourse to get down at all. He's just stuck where he is. He's got to deal with Boyer, who's also on the high side. Hamlin's going to try and find it in front of Montoya. No, can't quite get there. That's just classic Martinsville. You get on the high side, you don't go anywhere. Hamlin's learning that the hard way. Casey Kane's got himself pretty cleared out for second, while Biffle leads. There's Timmy Hill in the 37. That 37 team has been something. Not sure what it is, though. Brian Vickers, Joe Nemechek. Because the Penske guys, Keselowski and Allmendinger, they're not that far from a top 10, but Biffle has just been a monster. And is just putting one lap down, one lap down, one lap down. This is the view in the 3 and 4 as we see pit stops beginning to take place. Harvick and the gang wanting to pit early on Biffle as Biffle comes in this time. This is interesting. We're about 2/3 of the way through the race. Now Logano already pitted, but plenty of drivers are coming down to pit. There's Biffle's box. Here's Harvick. I think he's getting out of his. Harvick was like the first one to flag bear him onto pit road. Maybe Harvick will be the first one off pit road. The 32, Ken Schrader. He's still staying out. There they go. There goes Schrader into his box. I think Newman also came in that lap as well. Ryan Newman. Greg Biffle. There's Yaley boxing. Menard's on pit road. McMurray's in his box. He's changed some tires out. Looks like Biffle. Jeff Gordon had a rough stop. I think Logano also. I'm not sure if Logano came in as well, but it looks like the 20 team not having the best time here. Greg Biffle has been so good this season, getting second place back-to-back at Bristol and Auto Club. And Martinsville looks like his time to shine. Yeah, Vickers to about 13th, and now this is where there's just so many lap guys. Yeah, McMurray didn't have the best stops. Truex right there, he's top 10, but just kind of in a bad spot. Carl Edwards at least was able to redeem himself, kind of. He's up 25th, which is pretty solid. Just makes you think what would have been if Edwards didn't have that bad stop. Dale Jr., another rough break for the 88 team. This did not want to see a bad stop on pit road, but they dropped the ball hard as they are absolutely losing another position. Or another lap. Like, their position's fucked. See Vickers with a move to the inside. It's relatively aggressive, nothing too out of the box there. There's Harvick in second. He is pretty far back. And then Kenseth. Kane didn't have the best of stops. Still top 5 run for Kane though. Kenseth in third. He is there. 5th place, Denny Hamlin. Hamlin's cooking pretty well. He may have a little bit of trouble with lap cars, but nothing too serious. Now he's got to figure out his way around 49. Johnson and Boyer might try to fight for some spots here. Bit of a shame. Paul Menard sitting 8th. Pretty solid day for the 2017. They've just been pretty solid all around. Brad Keselowski in 9th. This position battle between Edwards and Castle taking place in front of him as Martin Truex Jr. in 10th right now. Almirola. Pretty underrated day for the 43 team running in the 11th spot. Take a look to see any other cars that are like down and out of this thing. Yeah, you see some of those drivers who really didn't pit well. You want to know which driver had an absolute money stop? David fucking Rudiman. Or maybe he just hasn't pit yet. Saying David Rudiman staying out of pit road at Martinsville is a sentence that brings up bad memories for some, but for others, it is what it is. The 10 team trying to hold on to their top 20 run, despite being one of the slowest cars on track, is interesting. Kurt Busch is closing fast, and then Kyle Busch is 21st place. I'm not sure if the 10 team can hang on to it, as they're all over the place. As Rudiman actually makes the decision to pit now. The 10 team actually hitting pit road at Martinsville. Good choice. Bring this leaderboard back up. Nothing really exchanging spots here. As now the top 10 are the only 10 on the lead lap. Yeah, I think Mike Skinner going to go a 3rd lap down at this point. The 52 doing what he can. Yeah, let's go back to that like little aerial hover here. You could see just how spread out the action is. Do not see anything in particular. It's just that there's like so many different cars on different laps spread out. It is pandemonium at the paperclip. The 83 going wide around 1 and 2. Pretty cool with the track this short. You could just see everything from a high enough vantage point. And Biffle running Truex down. See what lap we're on as we see. That is not much longer for Biffle. Denny Hamlin and Casey Kane. That's a 4th place bout right there. The 10 came off pit road from a stop. Hamlin putting one on the inside of Kane. The things you see here. A little goofy. A little loopy. Crazy even. a high amount of cars in like one area. Like that really holds him up. I'm not sure where Biffle is specifically coming to the 11 to go. He's right behind Truex as he doesn't have to push it at all. Like he can just cruise around there. Carl Edwards has been driving up. It just feel bad. Edwards trying to redeem from the unscheduled stop from the drop of the green. A limited amount of time for anyone to stop the 16. There's Truex. Travis Kvapil going to go a second lap down. Yeah, there's the top 20 for Edwards that is currently running. Meanwhile, the 16 just pulls these moves. He's just built better than everyone else here. He ran that 3 wide move. He'll put him a lap down. They go a lap down. Caution! Late yellow. This means there's only going to be 9 cars on the lead lap for the first caution of the race. And it looks like the culprit is Casey Mears. Oh, yeah, here it is. Marcos Ambrose and Casey Mears get together. The 13 of Mears will spin Ambrose on those curbs trying to get around as Burton hits into Mears. The accident is cleared away without much incident. It means that Biffle here going to have to lead this restart. Issue being is that the restart is an inline restart, meaning that all the lap cars are going to be between Biffle and Harvick. 31 of Jeff Burton is out of the race, meaning that Harvick is way fucked off over there, while Biffle just gets a clean restart here. Once again, it's going to be a 3-lap drill, but at this point, it's going to be the walk in the park for the leader. Burton out. Going to create another DNF. Go Biffle. The single file-ness of the restarting is very wonky for the mid-pack, but for Biffle, it's green. Here they go into 1. You can see there's Biffle. There's Harvick just now entering 1 as Biffle screams down the backstretch. Coming to 2 to go for the 16. Kevin Harvick. There they are battling with so much traffic. There's Kenseth, Hamlin, Kane getting a little knocked back as Menard gets top 5. Coming to the white flag. One more time around for Biffle. He's got this race all in the bag. Nothing's going to slow him down. The 16 of Greg Biffle, from start to back, has won Martinsville. Very convincing. As it looks like we have an incident right near the finish. I believe it was a few cars involved in that one. Let's take a look-see, shall we? Yeah, an unscheduled stop for AJ Allmendinger kind of derailed his race. But it was a caution. It was on the final lap for Kane. Now, Kane has to deal with, look at all the guys that Kane is around. Casey Mears coming back out onto the track. That's what Kane has to anticipate, but Mears just doesn't stay down. So there's Mears, and Schrader had a lot of contact, but eventually that just sends Kane around. Johnson getting a little bit of it. Stremme hits it as well. That just creates that chain effect. Yeah, I think Schrader hit into it. A lot of drivers did. But it was nobody but Biffle. There's so many drivers fighting for their spots. At the end of the day, that's what it looks like. Down the pecking order we go. That is all we have for this race. We'll see you next time. Take care.